Stellar names, fourth dimension, levels of deep meditation. Oris, you have mentioned. Congratulations on your first birthday. Yes, though it was stellar birth. Okay, congratulations on the first stellar birthday. As far as I'm concerned, the stellar names have a lot to do with vibrational levels of 24th dimension. But I am unable to imagine what the next stellar birthday would be like. Well, why did you project it all into the 24th dimension? Everything we perceive here refers to the manifestation mechanism of our forms of self-consciousness, our form types, meaning that sound vibrations and sound waves are peculiar for our vibrational wave range. We can only perceive the certain holographic part of the stellar names configuration, which is able to propagate only through this particular wave range and be perceived by these particular systems of our perception. So everything we are able to perceive as the stellar name here, in this wave range, is just a tiny part of the information that can be propagated by means of the wave transmission mode. So, when the second stellar birthday will be? Well, somewhere in the multipolarization, some changes will occur. The increased amount of subchakram refocusing implies that you will switch to the other existence type, beyond the existence, in this dimension range. There, utilizing other systems of perception, you will perceive yourselves differently, and the coded information of your stellar name will be significantly different from the one you can realize currently during the process of meditation. For example, let us review my stellar name, Oris, the world maker. Maker or creator of what? The multiplicity of various worlds. Thus, I'm preparing you for your future realization in the capacity of being the worlds. Little by little, in a variety of scenarios, I will ensure that you will be able to consistently and consciously experience yourselves not as individuals, but as the entire multitude of worlds and space-time continuum groups, with the individual perceptions and properties. Oris, why did you choose to call them stellar names? I suppose we will never become neither planets nor stars. Because the transmission of our star entity, the Sun, on our focus dynamics currently has the most significant impact. It affects not only our focus dynamics at the highest levels, but also our subconscious and superconscious. In our subjective view, everything that we can interpret as a positive influence is being the beneficent influence of our stellar entity indeed. I'm not talking about something we attribute as the X-rays, etc., but rather the psychic energy information rays, something to which our high psyche transforms into. All that energy information comes in order from our planetary entity, the Earth, but in particular our star entity, the Sun. This is purely subjective point of differentiation of various emission qualities, which plays for us the most important role. Although, of course, we must bear in mind that this wide-ranged influence comes not only from iissiidiological space-zone code for the Sun, but largely from many other stellar entities. Since in terms of the scale in space, iissiidiology emits the most intensive form of influence on us, we experience these vibrations in the strongest possible way, just because of this. It's just as affiliation with the notion of galaxy. It is virtually impossible to subjectively define anything in cosmos, especially of larger scale and magnitude, without the reference to these terms. Likewise, it's very difficult to convey the higher frequency emotions without using the words like soul, spirit, God, love, etc. These are the irreplaceable terms. Currently, we have no other such notions. Of course, that affiliation is subjective and not necessarily reflecting the sensuousness. The intellect also has a connection here as well. Could a stellar name be linked to some dimensional levels? Stellar name is tied to the locality, certain dimensional range in which it has the ability to manifest, manifesting within the third, fourth dimension, where we are manifested at this point in time. This particular type of stellar names, yes. The other stellar names will not possess the sound properties and codes. Okay, got it, thanks. That is true for flax type of realities, because in waltz, lower frequency types of realities, they will have different properties. There was information that the vibrations of stellar name known to us here are a Budhic nature and Budhic planes of approximately some 17th, 18th dimension, meaning that they come from levels of the secondary energy plasma. Yes, that is where our Birvular style type of synthesis ceases, but not of the Lu Wu true human type, but rather of an iiissiidiological type, where we manifest on cosmic human levels of self-consciousness. It is extremely difficult to explain what it is. However, it is definitely not a person with a head, 2 arms, 2 legs, and torso, as we usually imagine it to be. It is rather a certain kind of cosmic creativity implemented in certain fashion. This certain fashion implies a specific degree of influence effect onto the focus dynamics of our universal essence. The human individual form you're accustomed to ceases to manifest beyond 3.75 4.25 dimensional range. There, such shape like human form is completely non-existent, meaning that there we manifest in non-shape like human forms. The problem is that when you are trying to imagine yourselves there, you concentrate on imagining the same, shape-like human form, only of a higher quality, of much higher quality, and even unimaginably higher quality. However, in your imagination, that highest possible quality strangely correlates with the same human shape-like forms, which includes ears, noses, overgrown beards, primary gender characteristics, etc. However, this is not the case, no matter how much it may disappoint you. We should probably try not to imagine us being like that there. Correct? Well, yes. But at the same time, you will not be able to imagine anything else since your mind will cling to this shape-like image for now. Then we should try imagining it during meditating, as you said before. Sure, but the problem is, once you will reach the levels of variable ether substance and specific states of self-consciousness in your deep meditation, you will not be able to differentiate between your own self and everything else. At the same time, you will clearly experience and realize that very vividly. You will perceive absolutely everything as yourself, regardless of form types or any other parameters. You will not be able to differentiate between the various equally experienced forms, but this will be the most comprehensive and accelerating existence experiences for you at the time. However, there are certain restrictive admission levels you would need to pass. It's not as easy as you might think. I do not want to complicate your perceptions regarding the deep meditation. However, there are things that are way beyond you know, and which can only be cognized under the certain condition of your self-consciousness. If you can resonate with certain consciousness configurations. Suppose that in order to tune up to deep meditation states, I enter into the configuration which I had fixed in my own consciousness very precisely and clearly on August 19th of 1999. I remember it very well and commenced the deep meditation from that point on. It is very clearly stated condition, generally allowing a comprehensive understanding of things which are otherwise hidden during an ordinary meditation. But first, it was necessary to approach this state of consciousness. And it doesn't depend on whether you want it or not. Frankly, I did want it, but I didn't think about this. It appears by itself, because of certain perturbation and specific mental manipulations occurring under certain conditions. In this respect, I must admit that certain things have happened with me during first 40 days of my voluntary seclusion. And during the second 40 day of our stay on top of Ipetri mountains, a lot has happened to me as well, especially in the end. I see that most of you are waiting, and waiting impatiently for the abilities to manifest. However, they will be revealed within you only when the time comes. When your vibrations of your configuration will reach the levels superseding those low-frequency modes of perception thought forms, so inherent to you now, then these psychic capabilities will commence to manifest. When your vibrations of your configuration will reach the levels superseding those low-frequency modes of perception thought forms so inherent to you now, then these psychic capabilities will commence to manifest. The initiation of these admission levels, they occur according to the resonance or they occur naturally. Resonantly. Moreover, it requires the determination of parameters necessary for these levels to initiate. I define it as admission level comparison procedure of the previously achieved results with the desirable future accomplishments. There was a difference between the abilities initially revealed for me and this that became active immediately following that certain event.
Потом следующее событие в моей жизни, в моем психическом существовании.
Again, I compare what was happening before the August of 1999 and what has commenced to occur shortly thereafter. Perhaps there are some other approaching admission levels, which I will have to pass in order to acquire next higher frequency levels of knowledge. In the meantime, I advise you to not waste time trying to understand these complex matters, concentrating on these that you can master. Otherwise, the same situation will occur with the Immortalities Available to Everyone book series provided to you. What did you do with it? You simply crumpled it because of the abundance of complex information contained within. You have crumpled it in your consciousness, shoved some of its bits into various corners and shells of your consciousness, where it all remains in a very sparse mode, hoping to be utilized someday. The rest is like being in a state of nothingness, as if you didn't read and don't know any of this. That is the basic superficial level of understanding with which the people are now coming to international information altruism and intellect development centers. How can they advance in this case? There is no point to provide higher frequency, more complex knowledge to them, as long as they haven't mastered the basics, the fundamentals. I would say that this book series is the least complex part of the entire knowledge of iissiidiology. But there is a catch to this. Once someone will seriously commence to master iissiidiology's initial part, they inevitably will have to begin reading and researching the fundamentals, the key part of iissiidiology, facing various difficult-to-understand concepts, terms and notions, cross-linked with fundamentals. Hence, they will have to begin a parallel study of basics as well as fundamentals. Unfortunately, at this time, I do not suppose any of you is iissiidiologically prepared. That is because currently the perceptions of iissiidiology exist separately from your life, where all your weaknesses and lack of experience exist separately from your partial iissiidiological knowledge and understanding. So now you are very busy trying to figure out how to combine all your areas where you lack experience with the information you managed to derive from iissiidiology. The information you derived but cannot put together because there are much stronger lower frequency motivations and interests keeping you within the inferior levels of your self-consciousness. Thus, the hardest task you currently face is to correlate these of your still active motivations and interests to iissiidiological views, which can be extremely difficult without certain knowledge and motivated understanding.